being waged on a lot of fronts right now. Let me bring in Richard Socarides, a former top advisor on gay rights to President Clinton and the former president of Equality Matters. Good to see you.
Good morning.
If someone had said to you a couple of years ago we'd be where we are now with the same-sex marriage fight, would you have believed it?
No, and I don't think anybody could have predicted it.
The pace is unbelievable.
The pace of the change is amazing. There are now 14 states and the District of Columbia that have marriage equality, and fully 1/3 of all Americans now live in states where gay people and lesbians can get married.
And a key part of the debate in Hawaii, which I think has been the rub a lot and has national implications, is the difference between civil unions and a full marriage. What is the difference? Tell us why this fight has become so important.
Well, civil unions are different because they're defined by the legislature to include some rights of marriage, but not necessarily all rights of marriage. And
so
also,
give me an example.
Well, I mean, there could be varieties of inheritance rights. There could be, and of course, now that the Supreme Court has ruled last summer that if you're married, you get federal benefits. If you have a civil union, you don't get any of the federal benefits. So you can't file a joint tax return. You can't get Social Security survivor benefits. So the truth is that the effect of one of the unintended consequences of the Supreme Court ruling last summer that were so dramatic was that civil unions now mean less because marriage means so much more.
Well, 4 months after that Supreme Court decision that you just said, there are now 4 other states where same-sex marriage cases are pending. 3 of those states could legalize gay marriage by the end of the year. Opponents say this matter should go to a public vote. They say in these states they need to let it be decided by the majority. Why not?
Well, because rights in this country, the rights of minorities, have never traditionally been put up to public vote. I mean, you know, when we were fighting for the women's right to vote, I mean, we wouldn't have put that up to the public vote of men. Or when we were fighting against slavery or racial integration, we wouldn't have put that up to public votes. There are certain rights that are guaranteed everybody under our Constitution, and those should not be up to the public to decide by voter preference or by whim, and should not be subjected to the kind of advertising and so forth that happens in political campaigns. These are, you know, rights that all Americans have, equal protection rights guaranteed under the Constitution, and they shouldn't be put up to public vote.
It's been so interesting that part of the conversation has become the Sochi Olympics, right? I mean, there has been a big push there to get attention paid to areas outside of the United States where this right does not exist. And here's how one gay rights activist put it.
I think holding these Olympics in Sochi with these laws is like holding an Olympics in Johannesburg at the height of apartheid. It's going to put incredible scrutiny on the Russian government. It's going to force governments and people to speak out.
But has this furthered the cause in the sense of it really does have people talking, and it's raised an awareness beyond their own individual state or beyond the United States?
I think there's going to be a lot of focus on it, especially we're 101 days today away from the opening of the Winter Olympics in Sochi, and Russia has a horrible hate campaign aimed at gay people in that country, and there's no bigger stage than the Olympics. So I think that there is going to be a lot of focus on it. There's been calls now for the sponsors, the big American and multinational companies that sponsor the games, to take a stand to call for the repeal of this law, to help some of the gay rights organizations in Russia. There will be a lot of attention to this, and it's really the new frontier. I mean, right now, the gay rights movement in the U.S. has seen so much progress so quickly, but is it mature enough? Is it compassionate enough to extend that reach outside of our borders and focus on these global issues, which are in some ways more dramatic, right? I mean, there are still many countries where you can be jailed just for being gay. We don't have that here in this country, and that will be, you know, the next frontier of gay rights.
Richard Socarides, so good to see you. Thanks so much for coming in.